we videotaped her that before she couldn't walk, and now she's walking rope. She's completely recovered, and she doesn't have any more seizures. We have another little girl, Minneapolis, Minnesota, again, just drinking of live crystal, and her organs did not develop, and she was the 13 and looked like 5. And 2 years ago, because she was one of the first start using live crystal about 3 years ago, she went back to school and started developing, and all his epilepsy stopped, and he's back to normal. So we have evidence that dramatic changes takes place in the restoration of the conditions, both organs and also the brain. But I explained earlier that the live crystal is depolarizing water, and that can explain, this is what we think, that's the best evidence we have, that once you depolarize the water and you're forming a smaller water jacket around the potassium sodium ions, so they can get into small plugged passages, or you can increase the number of ion flow across the passages, septums, and microtubules. You're reestablishing the conductivity for nerve impulses, and you're restoring the damage in case of, or they become normal. They can function normally in case like these little children who has seizures. Now, we also had some stroke victims with traumatic recovery from injectable live crystals. In 3 months, they regained the complete mobility of their arms, and the face everything become normal. And after 3 months, you couldn't tell that the person had a stroke. Now, we didn't have too many, just a few of them, but the results were positive.
You seem very strong to do with brainstem or nerve disorder regeneration.
Well, regeneration, we see that when you use it in vitro, and you can see how fast you can restore and grow to any part of the brain, from the neuron fiber, neuron endings, the brainstem, the different cells, motor cells, astrocytes. If you administer the proper way, they will do the same thing in vivo. And this is where the big, the work which really have to be done. And this is where we need the most help to get more clinic, more doctors, more professionals involved, and make thorough clinical study and finding out exactly which is the best way to apply live crystal. Some cases locally, some cases intravenously, some cases intramuscularly, some cases orally, and the amount of dosage you're administering, all the different conditions. And this is, we are right in the middle of it to try to find out the speediest and the most efficient way to apply it. So we're still on the learning curve. But in spite of it, that we make tremendous progress in 3 years.
Sounds very good. Thank you for that question. What else do I have here? You had something, you said something about for people with, trying to think of the disorder here, muscular dystrophy. You hadn't had too many reports on that, have you?
We have an 8-year-old boy with muscular dystrophy only from live crystal drink. The protein production got restored, all the symptoms reversed, and he lost her nails, and even all the nails grew back, beautiful nails. So the protein production is back to normal, and only from the drink.
Is the curvature of the spine
it's completely restored?
Restored.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Now we also know that live crystal restores the myelin sheath.
Yes, that's
because we have a lot of clinical data.
Does that have to be injected to do that, or can it be done?
Intravenous injection.
Okay. The lifespan of the crystal once it's in your bloodstream, and how often does it need to be maintained?
The live crystal goes into bloodstream, you're going to use it up, because it's the building blocks of our DNA. It's the building blocks are our all genetic material, including your enzymes. So you're using it up. So as long as it's in your body, it keeps the water depolarized, of course, that really stimulates the genetic process. Has a lot of different benefit, but you're using it up, so you have to take new ones in.
That's different.
Because we use it every day. Like normally, the mitochondria is producing your ATP, and we're supplementing that ATP. And of course, half of your mitochondria is degenerated or not functional. Matter of fact, half your organs, because all the pollutants we're taking in and the type of environment we live in, they cannot function properly. And all the septums on the cell, that's the way cells are dying when they're aging, because everything breaks down. So all of that is reversed. And of course, in the process, you're using it up, so you have to replenish it.
This isn't the case with Chondriana then?
Chondriana is a different story. Chondriana, when you take Chondriana, if you're perfectly healthy, some people take it for prevention and they take a couple of shots and that's all they need. But if somebody has a disease and they take a treatment, you always have to keep in mind that normally when you're absolutely healthy, there's two armies in your body: viruses and bacteria and immune cells. The war is going on every second, every minute in your body, which enables you to live, because your immune system constantly has to kill bugs in your body. And that's just part of our life. That's the way we are made of. Now, if your immune system breaks down and the virus or the bacteria or the disease moves in and takes over, don't forget, they multiply. They're spreading all over your body to take you over and destroy you. Now, you're putting in a few Chondriana, it's like taking a few soldiers into the war zone. You need an army, so you have to build up the Chondriana in your system to match that army of viruses or diseases what's spreading in your body, because you have to counter them. There's a big war is going to take place there. Now, this is why you have to have enough injection of Chondriana that the proliferation of the Chondriana will overtake the proliferation of the disease. And then they take over the enemy and they destroy it. And after that, they move into your lymph channels, the lymph system, and they will stay there, and they will just patrolling through your lymph system when you need it again, and they will come out. But you see, it's a different story when you are already loaded with the disease. You have to bring in enough army to do it. Now, you cannot do it at once, because if you would bring it at once, there would be a tremendous clash and tremendous casualties, tremendous toxicity from all the dead bodies, and your organs cannot handle it. So you have to do it gradually. And this is why it's very important that it's done by clinics, by doctors, and they're monitoring the functions of the organs so that it can get rid of the toxins, so the liver function is normal, and the liver can handle all those dead bodies and toxins, and the kidney and all the filtering organs. And that's the way you have to look at the whole treatment overall.
Could I please have the name of your manuals that you're showing us so I could order them?
I have the yellow manual is the Life Crystal. It's 180 page, contains about 70 pictures. It's part 1 and part 2. It's very comprehensive over Life Crystal and Chondriana. Then we have a clinical data book, which we're collecting the clinical reports, and we upgrade it from time to time. We have 2 new books coming out. It's not going to be cheap because it's 500 picture documentary. It cost us $40,000 just for the pictures. And that's coming out. The first, I have one copy here, the blue. There's about 250 pictures in there, and the part 2 is going to be printed next week.